Welcome back to This Month in Superman, the show where we break down the monthly best in Superman comics. On the stands right now, here's how it works. Each of us chooses the one Superman comic that we absolutely think that you have to read. And I love these two guys. They are from the Beer with Geeks podcast, Tim Tangent, Frank Superfrank Ramblings. Everyone is here and everyone is ready. So because Frank has the greatest hat in the history of hats on right now, we're going to jump right in. Frank, what was the best pick for the month of October in the world of Superman?
Oh, if you only read one comic this month, one Superman comic this month, I hope it was Superman number 31. This was such a fun read for me, my friends. I thought this was a blast. I'll tell you what. I've gone back a bit, back and forth a bit on between, is it action, is it Superman, is it absolute? I've bounced around a bit, but I think this year, I've been back into reading Superman comics more regularly since January of this year when we started this show. And I think the Superman title is the book that I keep coming back to the most consistently as the book that I have found the most consistent, enjoyable read this year in 2025. This issue, ties into DCKO, so it obviously helps if you're reading that as well. It ties in very strongly, but I thought this was such an interesting idea of having to capture the heart of Apocalypse at the center of the Earth, and how that's tied to Krypton, and how that's tied to, of course, we get Superboy Prime. And we're coming in with a meta moment at the very, very end. I just loved this title this month. I thought it was a really compelling tie-in to the rest of the broader event that's happening across DC, and I thought it was a very worthwhile tie-in. One of those things that's like it wasn't just I didn't feel like, why am I reading this? Like, what does this have to do with the event? This actually adds color and adds some characterization, and I just found it a really compelling read this month. Did either of you guys like this one too?
Oh, yeah. I have been loving this Superman title as well. Joshua Williamson has been doing some fantastic work on this whole, like, from the time he jumped on until now. I think everything has been stellar. The art on this one, Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira, was fantastic. Everything that Frank said, I echo the sentiments of all of these books. There's actually going to be a theme this month of the DCKO, like, is in the background, I think, for the most part. And the Flash title, the Titans title, there's a ton of books that are like, this is the DC crossover that's happening right now. And I think you don't necessarily have to be reading DCKO to get the full, like, the impact of this story itself.
Yeah,
I think was very, very well done. And like you said, that meta moment at the end was fantastic. Everything that Prime has been involved with has been fantastic. So I also really liked this Superman issue. And another thing that I noticed in a lot of these Superman books, and I'm sure both of you have noticed as well, is kind of the James Gunn effect.
Yes.
Of adding little pieces in the background of, man, I can't even remember which book it was because I read so many books today. There was in the background Superman on the screen fighting like a kaiju, and then what looked like Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner in the corner screen, and it said Justice Gang saves, swoops in or whatever, and I was like, that's from the movie. So there was, I think, that infiltration of the James Gunn-ness has come in on all of these books. Tim,
I didn't catch that one, but there was Peacemakers, right? So like that
oh
one
yes,
I did.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Tim, what did you catch?
we were talking about when you were talking about this being a good Superman issue and whatever else. This is a very strong Lois issue for
Yes.
Yes.
me.
Yes.
I thought Lois going to the fortress and Jor-El being like, "Oh, blah blah blah. How can I help you, Bride of Kal-El?" Doesn't even say her name. I
Yes.
know he's just a computer, but like, come on, man. Like, can you be even colder? Not even say your like daughter-in-law's name. Um, but just like she, no, I'm here to interview you. What you said doesn't smell right to me, and so I want to ask you some. I want to ask you some questions, and I really liked that the computer program is like, well, I can't answer,
Mm-hmm.
and so, but I think that I think there's a good issue of showcasing like why Lois and Clark are a good team. Like
Mm,
where he's got to do the heart thing and the beat 'em
yes.
up thing, and she is full on intellect, like
Mm-hmm.
speculative intellect Lois, right? I just like I really like that. I really like that about I guess all of this run of Superman, like we see that a lot, but like even though she's like not Superwoman anymore, question mark. Um,
The once and future Superwoman.
right, exactly.
Yes.
She still like has gone back to holding her weight in a really effective way. So yeah, I echo both of your comments, but for equally as much Superman as Lois for me.
Yes.
Yeah. And the this is also part of the releases this month. The Superman Red and Blue special that
Mm.
came out, the 40-page one shot, had some great Superman Lois stories in it. So if you're on that Lois kick right now, the Red and Blue special I thought was very well done. It's an anthology book. There's different writers, different stories. Paul Dini, Dan Abnett, Michael Walsh, and Rainbow Rowell. And that might have been where I saw the Justice Gang. Like I said, I've got every book that I read today is in my mind right now, so I'm going back and forth. But there's four stories, two colors basically, red and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like every issue, every story is red and blue. Anyways, all that to say, I think Lois is getting some really good storytelling right now, and I mean, this whole year of 2025, getting the Superman movie,
Mm-hmm.
getting her in all of these different comics, it is a good time to be a Lois fan. Low, as Clark calls her. Tim Tangent, what is your one pick? If you had one pick this month to tell people to read, what would it be?
My pick, one pick, very tough. My pick is Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum number
Woo!
3. This was uh, Clark has been zapped with a different kind of kryptonite, which has made him a middle schooler. And so he's hanging out with Shazam, Captain Marvel, whatever we're supposed to call him now. Um, Billy
That's what
Batson,
somebody call him, the
and
captain. Yeah.
Yeah.
the captain, yeah, and but there's some hijinks with Toyman and Doctor Savannah, which I think were actually the highlight for me. Just like the
Yes.
amusement park that is also really meta for
Yes.
them,
Yes.
and they know that it's not right, but they're like, we're gonna do it anyway because it's kind of fun and kooky, and why not have some fun with our villains at the same time? And
Yes.
um, I think even Billy at one point, at like closer to the end of the issue, was like, "This is the worst amusement park I've ever been to." And they're like, "Hey, we worked hard on
We
this."
worked hard on that. Yeah.
Yes.
I
That
really,
was fantastic.
I really enjoyed that, and I like the continuing relationship between Batman and Superman in this
Mm.
issue because like Batman admits like this is way outside of my expertise, like what I'm working with here, and he talks about like guessing and knowing and Superman trusting him and everything. But it like fully reminded me of Star Trek 4.
Mm.
Oh.
Um so like with this like Spock is in this like he's coming back and trying to get his groove back kind of thing. And there's this bit where uh where Spock is like, I will guess. And Kirk is like, Spock, that's great. That's great. Yeah, take a guess. This is great. And Spock's like, why is he so excited about this?
Yeah.
It's like because he would trust your guess over almost anybody else's in the galaxy. And I really that there's this the panel close to the end of the issue where they zap Superman and Captain is like, "What'd you give him?" He says, "My best guess." Like, and I just like really like the level of trust that is
Mm.
taking place here. Like their bond and their friendship is really on display. Um, so yeah, truly the whole thing has been spectacular. The real like art therapy like drawn
Yeah.
inserts were really great in this issue. Like there's some really for this book should not be as good as it is. Like I'm so like when I read the description for this book, I was like, this sounds like a money grab of some kind. Like I'm not interested in different kinds of kryptonite, but it's just all for the purpose of revealing character, and it's just really really strong character work. Like I don't feel like anybody is really out of place, even though we're existing in this really kooky version of the DC universe, which is already
Mhm.
kooky, but we're like hammering home the weirdness and the kookiness, and they know it's weird, and it's like a near, it's like a, yeah, it's just all over the place. But for them to be like this, the Bizarro simulacra, or they're like coming in and like, hey, you said that they'd be working. Um,
Yes.
yeah, it's just some really positive, like really great positive stuff. Like what was it, the carousel of no, the canonical coaster of doom. That's what it is.
Yes. Yes.
Like they just know they're just in a for a kooky ride. And so but to balance all this heart with the kookiness is very difficult. This is not an easy thing. It's very all-star Superman in a lot of ways.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
A different kind of kookiness, but to be able to balance pure absurdity and for them to comment on the absurdity because it's all verisimilitude. They're taking this their world is so earnest, even though it's so bizarre. Um, it's just a really strongly written book. I'm just really enjoying the heck out of it.
This is the
Yes.
first entry in the Black Label, right?
For Superman or
What,
just in
Superman?
Black Label in general?
In
No,
general,
Black Label's
or
been around for a couple of years now.
has it?
It's
Okay.
been a
It's my
well,
first.
yeah.
It's my first Black Label read, and I'm really really enjoying it. It makes me want to check out the other stuff from
Yes.
this
Yes.
series,
I've enjoyed
and
most
Ice Cream
Black
Man,
Label
obviously.
books.
But
Yes. Yes. Which I downloaded, and I was like, oh man, I had so many other things to get to, but I know Tim Tangent, you took a taste of Ice Cream Man, didn't
I did. I tasted the vanilla, the chocolate, the strawberry, the
you?
coffee ice cream, man, whatever.
Yes.
It was really good. Like if I was not so busy being alive, I probably like I would stop and taste some more flavors. I would read more
Mm,
issues right now, but you know,
yes.
when you read in the weekly stuff, sometimes it's tough to really go backward. But
Right.
different points in the year, I find myself with time, and so I will go back and I will. I think there's actually an Ice Cream Man new issue coming out tomorrow, pretty
Ooh.
sure, or some kind of special or something like that. I saw it on uh, League of Comic Geeks. Like I was going through the pull
Yeah,
list,
that
but
sounds familiar. Yep.
yeah, Frank, I'm going to
I do
send you
want
an
to check that out.
article of all the DC Black labels
yes, please.
I was gonna say
that are out
the
there.
the first title of the imprint was a Batman book in September of 2018.
Oh wow, that's real. That goes
Yep.
real far back. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
not all of them are great. Um, so just to be perfectly upfront about some of these
That's fair.
books, not,
I wouldn't expect
but
them all
no,
to
you
be.
you read Last Days of Lex Luthor, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I guess I
Yeah,
did.
that was
Okay.
a black label.
Right
Yeah,
on.
yes, yes, that's right.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Pretty sure there's other ones.
Good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff.
Vactor, what was your
And
pick?
I was gonna say, speaking of great stuff, I think the book that we talked about a little bit earlier, the crossover event that is going on right now, is what I think. If you had one book to read in the month of October, I think DCKO is the book to read. I'm just going to make it full screen because I couldn't figure out how to make my face little. The Scott Snyder uh, book on, and I was trying to, I was trying to figure out like an elevator pitch for DCKO, and basically a group. It's like a March Madness of DC heroes, and they're trying to win this tournament to become the King Alpha to fight Darkseid's King Omega. Because the only way that you can top the King Omega powers is to get the King Alpha powers. Is that the way that you boys are seeing this? Is that the way that you're
Yeah,
understanding the DCKO?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Truthfully, I think explaining it in like the descriptions of it, everything, it sounds really contrived.
Mm, yes.
Like
Right.
it sounds like it's just a fighting game and they needed a story.
Right. Right. Yep.
And so we kind of threw it together, but it doesn't read like that. And I think that's what I really liked about KO, where I was actually really drawn into it, where I was fully expecting like a flub story,
Mm.
Mm,
like something that
yes.
like I would completely forget about. But I found the
Right.
Superman characterization here so strong. Like the guy that doesn't like only wants to play the
Mm,
co-op board game, Frank.
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
And just doesn't want to beat anybody, and then
Yeah.
now is forced to. Like that's really, really good stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah. I really enjoyed this way more than I thought.
Same.
Yeah. I think you're right. Like that setup of showing him playing the game with Clark and I'm sorry, with Diana and Bruce. I've been watching Scott Snyder's career pretty closely as
What a creep.
the new 52 the new 52 Batman, Court of Owls and all of these things that he's added over the years. And even when the Black Mirror, the Dick Grayson Batman was one of my favorite stories of all time. And it's interesting that he kind of stepped away from DC for a little bit, did his own thing with Amazon's, I
Oh,
forgot
the
their,
Comixology
yeah,
originals, right?
Comixology
Yep.
originals. He was doing a bunch of those, and he was also doing his horror title that is getting a, I think it's Witches, is getting an animated series coming up here on Amazon. But it's interesting that he's come back after the Dark Knight's Metal, all of that stuff, and he has more to say about Batman in the Absolute Batman, as well as this DCKO thing. I'm always a sucker for Darkseid. Anytime there's a Darkseid story, um, going
That's why
back,
I read all of Justice League Odyssey. I understand. Yeah.
yes, I'm always interested in Darkseid, and wondering how this is one of those things in fiction where they set up a villain to be so powerful and you're like how are they ever gonna beat him, and then it's sometimes it's like well the setup was better than the resolution of how did they defeat him. It was it was an easy thing that came they pulled it out of their butt, and it's like I really want the setup to equal the resolution of how they
Mm.
take down, because this dark side is like the strongest dark side that has ever lived. It's like what? How can you
It's like
ever?
mega dark side, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
like, yeah.
it's very much like an anime. If anybody's a Dragon Ball Z fan, it's like you always had to continue to top Goku's power level, had to keep going up and up and up. And it's like to the point where, okay, now he's fighting in these universe tournaments. And it's like, well,
Mm.
where else you go after this? Like there's no other higher thing. And the latest series, like they had to bring him back down. Okay, he's a kid again. And it's like they brought his power levels down. It's like, okay, because they had hit the ceiling. They have nowhere to
Right.
go. That's almost how I feel like with this, where it's like, this King Omega Dark Side, like how can you go past this and how can you defeat him? So I'm interested to see with the time trapper stuff, slowing down time. This the Flash issue that came out this month, I thought was very interesting with Wally and Bart. Like they slowed down the time, but they slowed down time so much that they were in picoseconds or something. I forgot what it was, but they were like, "Oh, everybody, they don't even know we're here." And then all of a sudden, Darkseid's like, "I planned for this." Like he starts moving, and he's like, "I already. Why do you guys think you could beat me? I'm Darkseid." And he just punches him, and it's like, dude, he's like, they stop time, and he's still moving. Like he's beating the speedsters at their own game. How can you defeat him? So all that to say, that's just a setup. And this issue, I really enjoyed the battle and immediately taking off some players from the board. It was kind of funny, like ambush bug, and there's like some goofy ones in there that was just, you knew that they were just a throwaway. But DC had also kind of spoiled some of the people who got taken out in their rankings. Like they showed the tiers and the tournaments, and it was like they had Batman there, but like he was crossed off and Joker's name was written over the top of it. So it was like you already knew Batman wasn't getting in. So some of the marketing had spoiled a little bit of it, but I didn't actually see
classic marketing spoiling things.
I didn't see any of that, so that wasn't the thing until after I read it. I was like, oh yeah, that would have been that would have sucked if I had gotten spoiled on that. But I think the setup and what everyone is fighting for is interesting. Like you said, Tangent, just the way that they characterize Clark, that optimism, the hope. And to me, it's like, well, that's how you beat Darkseid. Like, I can't see anyone else beating him than Superman. But we'll see where Scott Snyder takes this.
It's Firestorm. Calling it now.
The art to me was fantastic. I was really enjoying the coloring and just the kinetic nature of it and the over the top. Like this is what it is. They know what it is. It's like Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder, I think, kind of teamed up and said, this is a fun, we're going to take our toys and play with them and be like, hey, who wins? Like that's, and it's funny because there's so much on a lot of social media and even on my own channel where I will put up, hey, who wins? Mr. Terrific or Lex Luthor? And so much debate comes from that. It's just interesting to see the nature of humans that we want to put our toys together. We want to say who's better than who, even though, they're all fictional characters. Like you could say anyone could beat anyone.
If you put them all on a soccer field and you have them battle and right. Yeah.
That's a great idea. Somebody should do
that. It is just fun, like getting all the toys together. And speaking of that James Gunn thing I was talking about, where it seems like James Gunn is creeping into everything, like that shot from Superman where he punches one of Lex's guys. It's like everything is the Superman, the James Gunn Superman-ness is just creeping into everything in DC, and I love it. Frank, did you get a chance to check out DCKO?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it as well.
Do you have any sense from this first issue? Is there someone that you would let's just take Superman off the board? Is there someone that you would love to see come out on top in this?
Okay, that's unfair. I would love to see Booster Gold.
Certainly a personal question. Yeah.
I mean, once you take Superman out of it, right? That starts to get tough for me. But no, okay. You know what? Did I see Kate Kane in there?
Yep.
You know what? Yes, because you did. Yes,
that's with Scott Snyder, especially. That's an interesting angle for me. Of course, there is Starro.
Yes.
Is it Starro or is it Jarro? I really would like to know.
Now we're talking.
Because it's Scott Snyder and he's little, right? And
True.
So if you look at like the page, it's Giganta and Luthor and King Shark and he little.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's Jarro.
Okay, now I'm getting
Because I don't
emotional. I
actually
didn't even.
remember what happened to Jaro in Justice
Yeah, I was
League,
gonna
so
say.
I remember him like jumping down. He's like, "I'm finally doing it. I'm a member."
Yes,
Like, yeah, but
yes. Oh
yeah,
man, now I gotta reread the Jaro appearances as well as this
you're
issue
welcome. I
again.
just love giving homework. It's just a
Yes.
Yeah.
great joy for me.
There's actually a ton of Super Family members here. Power Girl is here.
Yeah.
Supergirl's here.
Do you
Um,
feel like having both Power Girl and Supergirl is kind of a weird double? It's a doubling up.
yeah, I was gonna say one of them to me has to be taken out. Like that's almost like a waste of a
I kind of
spot.
want to see Supergirl taken out just because I don't think Power Girl gets enough love these days.
Yeah.
And so I would just I would like to see that. I'd like to see Barda come out
Oh
strong.
yes.
I really
Mm.
like Barda. And I'd like to see that. I think Swamp Thing could like basically wipe the floor with almost everybody on this
Right.
list. Like he's kind of
Yes.
underrated. Um, and
I think
so
King Shark too. I think that's like the power level of a god almost for both of them. I think is interesting. But like I said, it's one of those things where it's like you could give any reason for why one character could
Yeah.
do it over another one. So yeah, I think this is just really it's interesting who they put in here, especially when you got the villains as well as the heroes.
Right.
And
and the
also
ultimate goal is hope though. Like let's not forget
yes.
like so like as like as much as I'd love to see like I don't know, Black Canary like take out I don't know, Metamorpho just to like see if that would even happen. Probably not. Um she might be the DC universe's greatest fighter, but I mean he can do a lot. Um
Yes.
but I think it's like who's more hopeful in these scenario like in who's in these scenarios. And so I don't think King Shark's the guy to make it, but like Lobo is a weirdly hopeful character,
Hmm.
right?
Lobo's
Like,
a good answer. Yeah.
yeah, like he's just like he's the main man. Doesn't like nothing rolls off of him. He's like a weirdly pure optimism, um, in in a
Right.
strange way. So the Joker also kind of like sits in that category. So,
Hmm.
but like Power Girl doesn't. Interesting. You know what
No,
I mean?
true.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Supergirl too. You know, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
Man.
yeah. There's a lot of anger in there. There was just an issue with Power Girl that I read where she was talking about that. I was just reading it like
Yeah.
yesterday
Dang.
or the day before. What book was that?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm also forgetting. I just read her in
hold
Justice
on.
League Red.
Oh, Justice League
Oh,
Unlimited.
okay. That's what it was.
Because
Yes.
she's
Right.
part of
Right.
the new team, the displaced people. But she has a
Yes.
great
Yes. Yes.
moment about like letting go of the resentment and the anger and the this and that. And I think like if that's what she could channel, then yeah, then she has a shot at this tournament.
Right. Yeah. I think this is going to be interesting to see the way that it plays out because they reveal in the very last page that Darkseid is inhabiting Booster Gold, and he's been. It seems like he's been doing it for a while. So what does that mean? They're
It
saying
means
that
that I
he's already
finally like
won.
Booster Gold. That's what that means. Yeah.
No, no.
He's
Oh
actually
man,
dark side. That's why I've
we
liked him all of
need
a sudden. Yep, here we
we
go.
need to get a Booster Gold Bizarro team up just for Tangent. We need to get all of his favorite characters into
Yes.
one
Save me.
book. um,
Yes.
I'm really interested to see where this goes. And like I said, how do you take out the King Omega? What skills do you have to have? You know, what heart do you have to have? But like you said, optimism and hope is the ultimate thing. So I'm interested. I'm also a follower of Scott Snyder's podcast where he talks. It's basically for writers. So if
I didn't even
anybody's
know Scott
interested,
Snyder had a podcast.
Hmm.
he
What
has
information?
a. It's basic. Most of it is. It's like half of it is blog, and he talks about his life, and then the other half is an ad for his class where he teaches writing. So
Aha.
it's interesting, even though I don't want to be a writer. I find the craft and the behind the scenes of how you put story together to be interesting. So he has a Patreon, or I'm sorry, a Substack. He has a paid Substack where you can get in and he'll do classes teaching how to be a writer. I do the free one. I don't pay for his Substack, but the podcast is a part of that. And I would highly recommend it because it's just interesting to hear. He talks about a lot of Absolute Batman and then a lot of DCKO has been the recent episodes, how those came together, how the ideas came out, and how he's put how the sausage is made on a lot of these things. So I just, to me, as a guy who loves like DVD extras and how did behind the scenes, how did this get made, all of those elements are in his podcast. So I would recommend the Scott Snyder podcast. I'll leave a link in the show notes. And I want to see, like I said, I've been following his career and it's been kind of like ups and downs, but for the most part, I've enjoyed his output at all of his places, his various places. But he definitely feels like DC is where he made his mark. So I want to see where DCKO is going, and I also want to see what is happening on Beer with Geeks in the month of November. What is cooking, boys?
Turkey.
Ooh, now that's something I like.
All
Tell
I
me
got
more,
for you,
Frank.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, probably some stuffing.
No cranberry sauce?
Yes.
Maybe some belt buckles loosened.
Ooh.
Well,
And put on your hats instead of
yes.
around your waist.
probably some leftover Oktoberfest or some other
Very likely. Yes.
vaguely
Okay. Well,
almost themed, Thanksgiving
if you
drinks.
love, oh yes, here we go. If you love Thanksgiving as much as I do, then you definitely want to check out the Beer with Geeks podcast. Not only that, but Tim and Frank are your best geek friends that you could have. If you want to, you could not ask for two greater geeks than Tim and Frank. So definitely highly recommend the Beer with Geeks podcast where they talk about everything. I mean, we're talking Beatles, we're talking Star Wars, we're talking Star Trek, comic books, Lord of the Rings, all of these things that you're seeing in the background of Thought Bubble Audio. Everything that you could, your geek heart could desire is on the Beer with Geeks podcast. So highly recommend everyone check that out. Tim, Frank, thank you very much. Oh, I have to do this. I have to plug Frank's TikTok because this is like the greatest Beatles documentary that you could ever find is Frank's TikTok. So if you are a Beatles fan, you owe it to yourself to check out Frank's TikTok because every day I go on there and I love that I have crafted this I've curated this algorithm of Frank's TikTok because I think I've liked and commented. I think it's showing me Frank more and more. So I've just been loving everything you're doing there, Frank. And this is not just because you're my friend. I think the stories that you're plucking out are interesting. Your presentation, your storytelling, as well as putting your heart and soul into your love of the Beatles and your love of music comes out on your TikTok. So highly recommend everyone check out Frank's TikTok. Frank, is there anything special that you got coming up? Is there anything you could tease for us?
Yeah, I've got a few things. First of all, thank you. Those are very kind words. Thank you for saying that. It's been a lot of fun. I've been diving more into TikTok. So yeah, Frank Ramblings on TikTok is where I've been doing that for the last couple of months now. But you can expect. I've been doing a deep dive on. A lot of people may not realize that the Beatles had different albums in America than they had in the rest of the world. And so I've been doing a bit of a deep dive on that. I've done a couple of videos on that and sort of breaking down some of the differences and stuff. And I think I'm going to do some more album by album stuff. And as we get closer to the holidays, I'm not ready to give it away yet, but I have a fun winter holidays Christmas themed plan for December, so stay tuned for that.
Excellent. And Tim Tangent, I know that you are not on TikTok, but I'm going to say it again. If you ever want to give your thoughts on Batman or on Lord of the Rings or on anything that you love, I will be your first subscriber. I'll be your first follower on TikTok.
And I
Just putting it out
truly
there.
appreciate that. And I am here to tell you that I'm never going to make a TikTok. Just not going
No,
to happen.
no.
If
You
you
really
want to
won't.
hear me talk about things off of podcasts, you can take one of my classes. There you
Yeah,
go.
now we're talking.
You can audit one of my classes. You're welcome at any time. Come on down.
Scott Snyder, eat your heart out. We got the real teacher right here, Tim Tangent. All right. Excellent, my friends. That is it for this month in Superman. October releases. Go check them out. Next month, we're going to be talking all the November releases in the month of Superman. We are the Beer with Geeks. We are This Comic Cooks. I'm Vactor. On behalf of Tim and Frank, stay strong, stay hopeful, and stay super.